everybody. Happy New Year. It's January 6th, 2022. Can you believe it? Time is flying so fast. I believe that the older you get, the faster the clock ticks. So it's also the anniversary of the insurrection, which really, I don't even have words for that. I don't even want to go there really, but it was like the most horrible thing I ever witnessed in my life. Anyway, so here we are. I'm gonna just update you on my own self, like I said I would. So here I am. If you're just tuning in, I am 69 years old, and here I am in Ormond Beach, which is just north of Daytona. So I had friends from Atlanta, mostly one friend. I was in this big social group in Atlanta, and the leader of the group, Dave, he's my friend, and every time he comes here, he's been here like 3 or 4 times this year, and he was very interested in moving down because he's retiring and all. Looking at Margaritaville, he brought 12 couples with him. It was one single guy, one single woman, and I got together with them a couple times for dinners and hung out on the beach, dancing with the band and having fun. So that was all good. That was this past week. I don't even remember the last time I talked to you, but Christmas I just Zoomed with my kids. I didn't have family, but I have my Bear Creek family, thank God. I have made friends here, 3.5 years being in this over 55 community, and I do feel like I'm starting to establish some friendships. It's a little slow going. COVID made it harder, and just getting to know people to form a close attachment takes time. It's starting to happen, finally, and that makes me feel good, but I'm also starting to get more and more comfortable and feeling good about being here by myself. At first it was lonely, kind of, but when I'm not real busy, and I have this disease where I stay tired a lot, so I don't keep real busy. But this past week I was with two guys that I kind of dated, I guess. Like I had like 2 dates with one guy, and then this other guy from Celebrate Atlanta who I didn't know, but he stayed an extra day, and I hung out with him. Took me to eat crab legs, which were so delicious. I haven't had them since over 10 years. I remember the last time I ate them. And it's been over 10 years. I've been wanting to have some, but they're so expensive, and I just didn't get to do it until this guy treated me, and it was so delicious, wonderful. We had a nice day. I enjoyed his company, and the other guy that I dated twice, met him at the Moose. Very nice gentleman, but don't think he's right for me either. So, every time I've been out with all these men since I've been living here. I mean, just briefly, most of them, one relationship, long distance. You're going to hear all about that. Anyway, I'm feeling more and more good about being by myself, thinking that's the way it needs to be. It's been, this month is 20 years since my last divorce, my second divorce, 20 years. And I haven't lived with a man in 20 years. I had a few relationships, a few long-term relationships, one really long-term, a few others a couple years. But anyway, here I am, ready to talk to you again. I am in the part of my story where I'm leaving New Jersey with my husband, Bob, have my little baby. Lauren was 5 months when we left. I do want to insert that I forgot last time to mention that when, I don't remember if it was when I was pregnant or right after I had the baby, but I went back to the Asbury Methodist Church in North Long Branch. I went back there when I hadn't been since I was 12 years old. So now I was 24. 12 years later, I go back to church because I wanted to come back closer to God, because I was going to be a mother and all that. I wanted to do things what I felt was the right and best way. And it was so awesome that when, it's a tiny little small church, and the pastor was the same one as when I was there last. And he would stand at the door and shake hands with everybody on the way out. And he shook my hand and he said, "Hi, Susie, it's so good to see you this morning." It was 12 years since I'd been in that church, and he remembered me and acted like it had been 2 months or something since he saw me. That just blew me away. I thought, that just really blew me away. I think that man really cared about me. Maybe he had even been praying for me. That's the way a pastor should be, right? God bless him. He's probably gone now, I'm sure. So anyway, when I did have Lauren baptized in that Methodist church, and Bob's brother, Kenny, and his wife were the godparents, which I didn't even understand what godparents meant. But they were Catholic, but they were the godparents. Jerry bought the beautiful christening gown, which they don't call it christening in the Methodist church. They call it baptizing. They do it pretty much the same way. They just, a couple drops of water on the head or something. And anyway, we did that. And we hit the road, right, when she was 5 months old, with the Dodge window van and our dog, Layla, German Shepherd. And it was mostly a really good trip. For poor Layla, she got car sick always. Every time she went in the car, she always got car sick. And that was just, she got better. I think she got used to it, but she never felt good in the car, poor thing. We had the tent, the little pup tent. We went camping, we camped across country. We stayed at the Holiday Inn at the Grand Canyon. One night we camped, and one night we stayed at the Holiday Inn. Well, the night we stayed at, because we went to the one side of the Grand Canyon, which is so awesome. You got to go if you haven't been. It's the most spectacular sight I've ever seen. There is no picture, no movie camera that can capture what it's really like to stand there and just, be amazed at the Grand Canyon. But, to me, it just reminded me, it made it kind of reinforced to me the story of creation and the flood, because you could, it made me think of God creating this and being destroyed by the flood that's in the Bible, Noah's Ark and all that. You could see the water lines in the Grand Canyon, and they say that there was even seashells at the bottom and all. Anyway, we camped one night on the one side, and then we went to the other side because it's so huge. We stayed one night in the Holiday Inn, and they had these cool pictures of the Grand Canyon in the Holiday Inns. We stole one of them. We took them. We wanted it so bad as the memory souvenir, so we took it. That's the way we were back then, right? And okay, going cross country. Now, I was breastfeeding Lauren. When we went into a restaurant, tried to eat in restaurants sometimes, every time, Lauren was great in the car, no problem. She was great all the time, but only time she went crazy was when we went into the restaurant. She did not like being in that environment, and she would just start screaming and carrying on, and we couldn't stay in any restaurant. So every time we wanted to eat in the restaurant, we had to take turns, and one would eat and the other would stay in the car with Lauren. So that's the way it went. And Layla in the car, of course. So I don't want to. Oh, one time when we were driving across, and it was in New Mexico. Um, we got burritos, right? And we were not used to eating much Mexican food in New Jersey, and they were hot, hot, hot. Not, I mean, I couldn't handle it. We couldn't eat them. I couldn't eat mine at all. I don't know. I think Bob could do it a little better than me, but I just couldn't eat it. It was too hot. And gave it to Layla, which I didn't know better. I shouldn't have done that, but poor Layla. And that night, again, we stayed in a motel that night. I guess we were tired of camping. We stayed in a motel, and poor Layla, she was just, you know, all over the parking lot. Had diarrhea all over the parking lot. She had to go out every 5 minutes, pooping all over the parking lot. Poor thing. She enjoyed eating it though. She just tore it up, but didn't do her good. I don't know, maybe she needed a good clean out. But she survived. And the other crazy time driving cross country was when we finally got to San Diego, which was our goal. We stayed that night, the first night, in this hotel. It was not a chain, it was like a mom and pop. It was just a big house that they were renting out hotel rooms like. And price was good. It was nice. It looked really nice. It was like the nicest place we had stayed. But a little bit into the evening, all of a sudden there was a cockroach in my baby bassinet. Freaked me out totally. I told Bob, we're not sleeping here. I can't sleep in a place with cockroaches. So I took Lauren, and Lauren and I slept in the van that night, and Bob and the dog slept in the hotel. So that was our first night in San Diego. And then the next day, we went and we got this motel in Ocean Beach, where we could rent it, I think, by the week or something like that. It was a pretty good deal. It was right on the beach. And we ended up staying there for about a month or two. It was nice right on the beach, but the beach there is a lot of beach bums, basically. It was not where I wanted to live. We could see that right away. We wanted a better place, better area to live. So we were looking, and I'm calling, every day what I'm seeing in the paper, and I'm saying, I'm interested in your place. We have a dog. That's the way I used to talk from New Jersey. We have a dog. Is that okay? Right? And I learned real quick that to pronounce the word dog, not dog. And gas, that was another one. I don't even know how to say it the old way. Gas, something like that. I don't know. But I learned to ditch the New Jersey accent pretty much because people mentioned it, and I could tell they kind of looked down on it. It didn't. And anyway, I ditched that, and I don't know if Bob did or not. I don't. But anyway, we got a apartment, not an apartment, a little duplex, right near downtown San Diego. Only problem was that it was the backyard was on the freeway, on I-5, I think it was, or I'm not sure, 92 or 94 or something. Anyway, it was right on the freeway with the fence, so the traffic noise was constant. We were close to the airport, the planes going over, the traffic. And then every once in a while there was an accident, and we'd hear the bang, in the middle of the night, and the brakes screeching, and the ambulance, and all that. It was too much living there. It was not good. So we tried to get out of there quickly, and we did. The lady we met a lady that lived across the street from us who owned a house a few blocks away in a better area, and it was just remodeled and everything. And she told us, come and look at my place. It's much nicer than this. And we did, and we were able to get that. So we had the bottom floor of a house, and she had the top floor, it was just a duplex. And a nice 2-bedroom. This was not furnished. And we bought some used furniture, just what, basic needs. We had our crib, the crib for Lauren, and Lauren had the crib in the dining room because we didn't use the dining room. We didn't put any other furniture in there. We bought a eating table, and I'm sure we were sleeping on the floor. Anyway, we were fine and happy. And as soon as we got into, I got to roll back a little bit. When we got into our first place, we moved out of the Ocean Beach Motel, and we moved to the house with all the traffic and the planes overhead. Soon as we got there and got a real address and started getting mail, we got this from in the mail, a flyer, and it said you're invited to Bible study on a certain time, and it was in the evening, right? And it was going to be a study on the book of Revelation. And now, as I told you before, I had read The Late Great Planet Earth, and I was all interested, very much interested in the end time prophecies, and I knew they were in Revelation. I tried reading it on my own and didn't really understand it. Didn't understand it at all. So I got all excited. It's like, this is exactly what I want to do, and I felt like it was the answer to my prayer, because I had been praying to get closer to God. And I was just so excited to see this, but I was, as I have told you, I was basically kind of a shy person, and I was not outgoing like I am pretty much now, but I didn't used to be. And I didn't want to go by myself. I didn't like to go. I did not go anywhere by myself. I mean, those couple times I ate in the restaurant alone on the trip, that was like the first time that I was ever, would ever eat in a restaurant alone or anything like that. So I begged Bob, because I did not expect him to have any interest. I told him about it, and I begged him to go with me. I said, just go the first night to this seminar, this Bible study thing. I said, just go with me the first night, please, please. And if I like it, I'll go by myself after that, but I have no idea what it's going to be like. I would feel much better if you came with me. And so he agreed to go with me. And they had babysitting. So brought Lauren, and they took care of her. And the pastor was, his name was Bob Boney. And the pastor got up there. We started reading in Revelation. It was going like verse by verse through the book of Revelation. We started reading in Revelation at some point. I don't know if it was in the beginning or sometime he interrupted the study. I don't know. But this guy, Pastor Bob Boney, he was a heroin addict. And as I told you before, we were getting away from that kind of stuff going on in New Jersey. So he was a heroin addict for 10 years, and he actually wrote the book, The Cross and the Needle, which is very hard to get now because they didn't keep publishing it, the very limited edition. I had it. I don't know what happened to it, but if you can get it, it's going to be old and worn out. It was only in paperback, but The Cross and the Needle. And what a story he had. and we read, I guess the first chapter maybe of Revelation. And Bob, it really was the perfect thing for both of us, because I was so excited and interested. Everything they said was just what I wanted to hear. I mean, what I needed to hear, what I didn't know. And Bob felt the same way, which made me double excited. He loved this guy, and he was like, he just wanted to hear more, and we just couldn't get enough. So we never missed. We went every time. It was 4 times a week. Okay? And we went every single time, did not miss a heartbeat. The people were so good and friendly and loved us, made friends with us, and we were baptized before the end of the seminar together. Bob and I were baptized. Total submersion in the tub, under the water, up again to new life. Baptism that way, and that's the way Jesus was baptized in the river. It's a symbol of dying to your old life and being born again in a spiritual life with Christ. That's what it symbolizes. When you go under the water, you're dying, and when you come up, you have new life with Christ. So we both did that together, and we were so happy, excited, reading the Bible, made new friends. It was awesome, wonderful. This was the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We had studies 3 nights a week and Saturday morning, which was their normal worship time. And so those were our best friends there. Now, Bob got a job working with his stained glass, which he wanted to do. He was good at it, and he wanted to make a living that way, but can't make a living as a craftsman like that. Artists, they don't make a good living to support a family, But he tried to do it. That wasn't working out so good. He worked with a lady in La Jolla who had a shop, and he got a foothold into the stained glass people there, so he knew where to get his supplies. He became good friends with the supplier who had a stained glass shop in La Mesa, and he was doing it, but it wasn't looking so good. So I'm gonna also, I was a little bit uncomfortable with him working with this lady in La Jolla, because she was very attractive, young lady in her 20s. She was married, but very attractive, and she wore these little tank tops and short shorts, and it made me a little uncomfortable having him working so closely with her. But I will continue the story next time. Thanks for watching, and Happy New Year.